Kuminga has gotten worse. Moody has gotten worse. Poole has stayed the exact same. And I see no way they can win multiple playoff rounds.
I can't believe what I'm seeing from them on the road. 7-26? That is just atrocious.
How do you bottle up some of this home magic?
No idea. We'll figure it out, though.
So just in case any of you guys might have missed it, the Golden State Warriors very recently won their first game on the road as a team since January 30th. And, well, in case you missed this as well, it's almost April. I guess Steph didn't lie.
We'll figure it out, though.
And while the statistical anomaly that is the home and road splits of the 2023 Warriors is something that we're just never going to be able to fully explain, that's not what we're here to talk about. Because, well, as of recently, and more specifically, ever since the return of Steph Curry from his knee injury, there's been a pretty significant difference seen between when this team is playing some of their worst basketball as opposed to some of their best. And the reason for this difference might just surprise some of you. But before we go any further, today's video is brought to you by our friends at AG1. AG1 is an all-in-one nutritional drink that I've recently added into my daily routine as it's become the easiest way for me to meet all of my basic health needs. Because with being made from the highest quality ingredients and packing over 75 vitamins, minerals, whole-sourced foods, and probiotics into each serving, it's amazing in removing the hassle of needing to take so many pills and supplements. So whether it be in addition to your healthy lifestyle, to enhance recovery, or even just feel like a better version of yourself, AG1 might just be exactly what you need. And with this, if you go down to the link in our bio, you can get yourself a 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D3K2, along with 5 additional travel packs of AG1 for free with your first purchase. So once again, be sure to go down to the link in our bio to get your hands on the foundation of daily health in AG1. Now, to get back on topic with the Golden State Warriors, if there's been one thing that stuck out to me the most about this team throughout the course of this very interesting 2023 season, once again, aside from the absurd home and road splits, would very easily be their dragged out issue of health and consistency within their rotation. Because aside from just Jordan Poole, Kevon Looney, and Draymond Green, no one else on this entire team has missed less than 10 games throughout the course of the entire season, and also not to mention some of their biggest pieces on the team missing almost half the season as well. And don't get me wrong with saying this, because I definitely know that every team across the league is dealing with injuries to some extent at almost every point in the season, but at the same time with saying that, I also don't think I've seen injury and force different lineup combinations play as big of a role into a team's struggles as Golden State this year. And if you don't believe me on that, trust me, there's definitely some proof from what we've been seeing. Now, while statistically speaking at least, I don't think it's much of a secret that Steph Curry is yet again arguably having one of the better seasons of his entire career from really any aspect of his game you want to look at. But I will say that one thing I've been seeing get almost more attention than some of the ridiculous performances that he's been putting up recently, and it just sounds ridiculous to say out loud, but it's the fact that the Warriors actually have a worse record this season when Stephen Curry is on the court. Let me just zoom in on that real quick to make sure everyone sees that correctly. Now, you guys, while I think it's clear that statistics can sometimes do absolute wonders for us in terms of diving into further details of the game, but if you're one of the people that are actually trying to say that a guy putting up these numbers on these splits is the reason this team is not succeeding, yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm just not buying it. But I will say that with the inconsistency of time that Curry has been able to see on the court, especially down the stretch of the season, that definitely has had an impact on this team. And where that impact has definitely been seen most is undoubtedly in Jordan Poole. Now, with getting into this, I should make it clear right off of the bat that I'm by no means trying to pin all of the struggles of Golden State this year on the shoulders of Jordan Poole, because even though some people out there would like to lean in that direction, when you look at his numbers from an efficiency standpoint this season, especially after getting his massive payday, you also definitely have to consider his numbers in play, specifically when Stephen Curry has been sidelined this season, has easily been more than enough to keep Golden State afloat, hence the record record that they have when Stephen Curry's been gone. But when he actually returns, it's a different story, and you can definitely see it in the film. So with all of this, am I trying to imply that Steph and JP are completely incapable of running an efficient and successful rotation together? Well, it's partially yes, but also partially no, and let me explain. Now, while some of you might remember this like it was yesterday, when the Warriors implemented their quote-unquote death lineup 3.0 that we became very accustomed to in their playoff run, with Steph, Jordan Poole, and Klay Thompson all running in the same rotation again. And while yes, it worked at the time, believe me, it's not working now. As a matter of fact, in the pretty substantial sample size that we have so far of these three being on the court together this season, they would actually be considered one of the worst offenses in all of basketball, along with an abysmal defense right alongside it. But what about when Jordan Poole is on the bench and just Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson are running the backcourt? Well, and there's no exaggeration with even saying this, they would be ranked as the best offense in the entire league. Now again, we're not trying to say that JP is completely incapable of playing alongside either of these guys going forward, but instead the approach of playing him in moderation with either one or the other seems to be the best case scenario for this team, and they've started to do it with implementing him back into the six-man role. And in these situations so far this season, where we've actually seen Jordan Poole act as a complementary to either Steph or Klay on the court at different times, the numbers will definitely tell you that the offense almost always operates much more efficiently in these case scenarios. And trust me, it's not just the numbers, because the play will tell you the exact same thing. Because when Steph and JP are on the court together, there's always the combo guard threat of one of them facilitating the offense and the other trying to consistently create off the ball. Now, whenever you're thinking of when Klay Thompson's out there, it's always nice to keep him at the two-guard spot for offensive creativity, but then also avoiding unfavorable defensive matchups as well. Point being in all of this is that there is definitely a formula to show this team when they're playing their best brand of basketball this season, again, with all things considered, but it's also about how they utilize everyone around the star power as well. Now, one thing I think that I can confidently say about this team this season is that while we've seen struggles and inconsistencies in almost every direction that you look, the one area for the most part that has pretty much gradually improved as the season has gone on has definitely been in the production of their role players. Because even though obviously we saw some slight adjustments to the rotational pieces for this team, you definitely don't need me to tell you that the operation of this Warrior offense has really stayed the exact same, with being predicated most on off-ball movements, spot-up outside shooting, and of course driving the lane to find these kickouts. While at the beginning of the season at least, some were definitely questioning if these new pieces would be able to fit the mold that they were trying to replicate from last year, guys like Donte Divincenzo, Jerome, Anthony Lamb, and even Jamychal Green have slowly but surely learned how to thrive in this offense. And as they've all continued to fit more seamlessly within the scheme of this offense, it's gradually pushed Golden State yet again to be one of the top teams shooting from the outside, both in terms of volume and efficiency. But when you're also considering some of the absences on this team, especially in guys like Andrew Wiggins and Gary Payton II, who were still not even fully confident that the Warriors are going to retain either of them throughout the course of this season, a huge portion of their success down the road is going to depend heavily on finding the perfect rotation with these role players, but also seeing if they'll be able to step up into the spotlight as they may be needed. But of course, as with everything else we discussed in this video, we're just gonna have to wait and see. Nonetheless though, I'm also extremely curious to hear what you all have to think about Golden State's situation. So please be sure to let me know in the comments what has been the most surprising part to you out of literally everything we've seen from the 2023 Warriors. And if you had to right now, give me a prediction of how far you actually see this team making it in the postseason. But also, I just wanted to say thank you so much to each and every one of you out there for watching. I appreciate you all more than anything. You all know this, and I will see you guys in the next video.